changes to talk about. Later on this week, I'll have the details for you coming up in just a few minutes.
Drivers have gotten used to a lot of construction along Paseo del Norte and I-25, and now we're coming off of a weekend full of changes.
Yes, a major traffic switch began a day early yesterday. It is something you do need to know about before you hit the road this morning. So we sent News 13 Samantha McDonald out to the area to find out more. Sam, what do we need to know? What's going on out there?
Well, Matt, there are some new changes this morning that you should know about. From the railroad tracks to I-25, all lanes on Paseo del Norte will be shifted to the north. Westbound lanes will be on frontage road now, and all eastbound lanes will be where the westbound lanes used to be. That means you can drive in the same direction as before, and there will be the same number of lanes, but the lanes will be moved over, and they are smaller in size. This is all happening so contractors can work on a grade separation at Jefferson and Paseo. Ultimately, Paseo del Norte will go over Jefferson, and there will be a single point interchange underneath Paseo. The goal is to speed up traffic, but in the meantime, DOT officials expect slowdowns.
People will not be sure what to do at first, and so they'll be driving slower, maybe a little bit more backups. But once people get used to it, I think traffic will go back to the way it was.
This setup will last 2 to 3 months, and then drivers will have a permanent route. Back to you.
All right, thank you for the update this morning, Samantha. The Department of Transportation says if you can find an alternate route, please do it. The Paseo I-25 project is set to be done at the end of the year. Elizabeth?
The showdown over the TV show Cops continues. 2 city councilors are now jumping into the fray, opposing the Bernalillo County Sheriff's decision to invite the popular show back into the metro area. Councilors Don Harris and Ken Sanchez announced a new resolution Sunday calling on Sheriff Dan Houston to reverse himself and stop cops from filming with local deputies in April. The councilors think cops will make Albuquerque look bad and hurt its chances to attract new residents and businesses.
People in other parts of the country think Albuquerque is a very dangerous and violent place when it's not. We have a wonderful city, and we're in the process of regrouping and growing.
The proposed resolution will be presented to the entire council early next month. In response, Sheriff Dan Houston released a statement saying no one has ever released any data showing that the show has ever hurt Albuquerque's economic interests.
In just days, we should know if Bernalillo County will continue spending millions in taxpayer dollars to pay rent for inmates to go to other jails. Last year, you might remember, county commissioners approved shipping inmates out of the Metro Detention Center as a solution to the chronic overcrowding problem there. Hundreds of inmates were sent to jails in other counties, even other states. Well, tomorrow, the commission will vote on another plan for a $3.3 million to keep paying for the program, which has already cost nearly $7 million.
We're in a tough spot. There is not an easy answer to this, whether we go back to a crowded jail, whether we continue to spend this money. So it's a tough question, and it's something that has been, on our plate for a long time.
If the plan does not pass, inmates will be heading back to the MDC. Commissioner Maggie Hart-Stebbins on the right says she will vote yes, while Commissioner Wayne Johnson has been against the plan, saying it's wasting taxpayer dollars for a short-term solution. Overcrowding at the MDC is at the center of an ongoing lawsuit against the county. On 504, there is a settlement in the lawsuit with the Tierra Blanca Youth Ranch for troubled teens. It's the one it filed against the state's Children and Youth Families Department, challenging CYFD's investigation into claims of abuse.
Yeah, the settlement allows the state to gain access to Tierra Blanca's residents and files. The ranch has agreed to notify the state in cases where a resident is injured or may be in danger. It will no longer use physical restraints to protect residents from themselves. Instead, they'll use a supervised isolation room. And speaking of CYFD, the department says the legislature is putting children at risk for failing to clarify who is obligated to report child abuse. The Court of Appeals recently ruled that the state law was unclear on who exactly was to report or is to report child abuse. CYFD and the governor wanted lawmakers to leave no doubt that anyone who sees or suspects it is responsible. The bills that would have addressed that were not passed during the session. The state Supreme Court has agreed to review that ruling, but it is not clear when that might happen.
Double murder suspect Ronald Santiago could learn his fate anytime this week. Jury deliberations are scheduled to resume this morning in the trial that's been playing out for weeks now, nearly a decade after the murders. The former mortgage handler here is accused of killing Greg and Bernadette Olemacher in their home in northwest Albuquerque back in 2005. After weeks of testimony, prosecutors tried to convince the jury that Santiago killed the couple after Greg Olemacher complained about paperwork in the Olemachers' refinancing case. Santiago's defense spent much of the trial pointing the finger at the Olemachers' daughter, Renee. The defense claims she acted suspiciously after her parents died. Friday was day one of deliberations, and the jury had the weekend off. Well, the mother of a teenager accused of murdering a 12-year-old boy says her son is innocent, developmentally delayed, and a victim of bullying himself, and he doesn't understand why he's sitting in jail right now.
But the victim's mother wants justice.
Before my son was even found, I knew Brandon Villalobos was the one that murdered my son.
When I talked to him the last time, he's like, Mom, why am I here? Why are they charging me of something I didn't do and I didn't say?
Okay, so 15-year-old Brandon Villalobos' mother claims her son was coerced to confess to killing 12-year-old Alex Madrid. She says she told deputies the same story her son originally told them, which was that 3 other boys who wanted to fight approached them in the field and that Brandon hit one of the boys and then ran away and assumed 12-year-old Alex went home. But Valencia County deputies say Brandon then changed his story and led them right to the 12-year-old's body. Investigators say Brandon admitted to hitting Alex after an argument and then hid his body. Support for Alex Madrid's family continues to pour in. Dozens of cars lined a parking lot near Atrisco and Central for hours on Saturday. Friends and family washed and dried a number of vehicles. They managed to collect more than $1,500 in donations going toward funeral expenses.
We got a lot of support, a lot of people coming, some people not even wanting a car wash and giving donations, which is really nice.
Madrid's family held another car wash yesterday off of Central and San Mateo.